The Irritated People ******** The Irritated People by Ray Bradbury. Transcriber's note: this text was produced from Thrilling Wonder Stories, December 1947. Extensive research did not uncover any evidence that the U.S. copyright on this publication was renewed. Charles Crossley, president of American jet-propelled ships, felt himself spread-eagled in his favorite living room chair. The voice on the televisor moaned. Europe. Crossley twitched. Secret atomic factories. Crossley jerked. Semi-dictatorships. Crossley sweated. Political pressures. War. Crossley writhed. His wife shut the televisor off indignantly. Nonsense. She stared at her limp husband. Triunion hasn't any weapons, we haven't any, neither has Russia, Britain or anyone else. That was all settled and forbidden ages ago. When was it? 1960. Crossley stroked his receding hairline, sighing. They're making atom bombs in secret, he said. He littered the rug with cigar ash. Stop that, cried his wife. My nice rug. The rug, oh, the confounded rug, he said, and muttered away, closing his eyes for a long minute. Then he opened one eye. He looked at his wife. He looked at the rug, the cigar in his hand, the fallen ashes. The rug. He shut his eyes again. 5 minutes later he leaped up with an explosion of sound. The rug. I've got it. I've got it. He seized his wife, kissed her. You are brilliant. I love you. That's it, that is it. He rushed madly off in the general direction of Europe. Thus began the Triunion-American War of the year 1989. The small jet-propelled ship crossed the Atlantic in fiery gusts. In it was Charles Crossley, a man with an idea. Behind it 3,000 other ships tore along, putting space behind. They were his ships. They belonged to his company. He employed the men. This was his own private war. Ha! Mr. Crossley laughed quite obviously. The radio cut in on him. Crossley. Crossley answered. Speaking. This is the President, Crossley. The voice was sharp, and it fairly heated the interior of the ship. Turn back, in the name of common sense. What are you up to? I'll seize your company. This can't wait, Mr. President. We've been sweating it out for months. The Triunion won't admit it's setting up a fascistic skeleton in Europe. We can't find any proof they are, but there are rumors. We've got to get it out in the open. We can't wait. I'm sorry I have to act alone. Bombardiers. Ready. 3,000 voices. Crossley, shouted the President, far away. Here comes Vienna. Crossley jerked his hand down. Bombloads, release. Release. 3,000 voices. Crossley. the president. Bang, said Crossley. Pink confetti tumbled down through the clear cool summer air. Tons and tons of pink, whirling confetti. Confetti by the bombload, 3,000 cargoes of very pink, very fine confetti. Pink confetti tumbled down through the air. And to think, mused Crossley happily, as he turned his ship homeward, to think the entire idea came from spilling ashes on the rug. Hi-ho! The President of the United States shook his fist. You bombed them. Crossley yawned. There is no law against dropping waste paper, he said, quietly. You attacked the people of the United States. No one injured, said Crossley, calmly. No explosions, no bruises, no fatalities. Did anybody even get a piece of confetti in his eye? The answer is no, a two-letter word. Crossley lit a cigarette. 50,000 house floors and 100,000 children swept sidewalks. Men flooded employment offices in Vienna for street sweeper jobs. But, that clever, devilish confetti. It was electrically and chemically impregnated. It vanished when touched by human hands. It reappeared when humans withdrew from the immediate vicinity. Brooms helped little. When disturbed, the confetti had a curious habit of jumping like tiddledywinks or jumping beans. Sensitive little things. I dare say it'll be some weeks before Vienna is clean. That is what I have done to the Union. The World Organization forbids an attack. Was this an attack, sir? Confetti on the wind. The World Organization forbids war, cried the president. This is not war. Crossley leaned forward, tapped the desk earnestly. Suppose we dropped confetti every day, causing the Union population to pluck and curry their lawns 365 days a year. And there are other things we can do, Mr. President. Little, irritating things. Imagine it, Mr. President, will you? The President imagined it for quite a while. Then, slowly, he began to smile. It was a sweet day, a morning in the Union state of Bruyere. The sky was blue, the clouds were nicely white. And upon the rolling green hills a picnic was spread, with thousands of tossed paper napkins, hundreds of bread heels, crusts, can openers, sardine tins, dropped eggs and wadded cardboard cartons. The picnic, like a river of several thousand parts, engulfed the park like hills. One small boy running through the dells paused to leave his semi-digested lunch. Laughter. Wine bottles gurgling. Songs. The President of the United States and Mr. Crossley clinked glasses, heading the picnic, drank gustily, refilled, drank again. Others yelled, screamed in delight, played tag, threw away bottles. And on 20,000 other Union hills 20,000 other small family ships landed. 20,000 more picnic riots began. 60,000 napkins, well wadded, were dropped from wiped lips. 100,000 shattered eggshells were spilled. 60,000 shiny soup cans were left gleaming in the sun. 300 million ants rushed out to welcome them. And the 30 million people of Greater Bruyere glared at the invasion, knowing not what to do. What was the world coming to? At nightfall, the last little boy had emptied himself of his brackish contents, the last little girl plucked bawling from a poison ivy nest, the last sardine dispatched, the last beer bottle left a foamy vacuum. Flying away into the night, the American invaders sent back their war cry, which sounded remarkably like, and probably was, a belch. General Kraus, personal representative of Bra, the new semi-dictator of Europe, shouted out of the televisor, "Mr. President, you were seen, by reliable witnesses, to peel an egg and, bit by bit, throw the shell under a 100-year-old linden tree." Crossley and the President stood together in the White House in a sanctum. The President spoke, "Kraus, the peace laws specify no nation may manufacture weapons for killing, wounding or destruction of another's national populace or property. We are helpless to attack you, therefore. All the while, you, in secret, make weapons, you can't prove that." "Make weapons," said the President, grimly. "So, in last recourse, we use weapons which are no weapons at all. We have destroyed nothing and no one." Aha! Kraus' eyes snapped on the visor. His face vanished. A new scene replaced it, showing a green meadow. Kraus' voice crackled behind it, in comment. "Property damage to Greater Bruyere. Listen. Rough estimate. 6 to 5,000 ants, large and small, both black and red, biting and non-biting, were trodden on at your picnic." The scene dissolved to yet another. Hark! 10 million grass blades. Approximately. 10 million trampled and crushed. 2,000 pretty flowers. Picked. "That was an error," apologized Crossley. "The children got out of hand." 2,000 flowers, repeated Kraus savagely. "Picked." Kraus took time to get hold of himself. He cleared his throat and continued. "Approximately 30 billion atomic particles of wood brushed off Great Bruyere sycamores, oaks, elms and lindens by adults playing tree tag, and 60 million particles scraped from Greater Bruyere fences by young men escaping angered Greater Bruyere bulls. And, he thundered. The scene dissolved once more, and a most interesting view was revealed. And 16,000 cubic feet of a first-class forest moss crushed, rolled upon and otherwise malpracticed by young lovers idling in the thickets. There you are. The proof. The proof. This is war. The first tri-Union airships flew over New York a week later. From them, on parachutes, little yellow boxes floated. Crossley, in his garden resting, preparing new methods of attack on the enemy, was astonished as one of the devices hovered by the red brick garden wall. "A bomb!" he cried, and leaped into the house, sorry he had started this infernal war. Edith, his wife, peered from the rear window. "Oh, come back," she said. "It's only a radio." They listened. Music. Blues music. "From back in the mad 40s, when I wore pigtails," said Edith. Said crossly. The music, if such it could be called, concerned a lady afflicted with, "I got those mad about him, glad about him, but I get so sad about him blues." "Interesting," said crossly. "Yes," she said. The song ended. They waited. The song began again. "Is that all it plays?" said Edith. "I don't see any dials to change the record with." "Oh, oh," said crossly and shut his eyes. "I think I begin to see the light." The song ended and started a third time. "That's what I expected," said crossly. "Here, give me a hand." The song flowed into its fourth, fifth and sixth renditions as they poked at the dangling machine. It dodged, like a hummingbird. "Radar sensitive," gasped crossly, giving up. "Oh, phooey." Edith covered her ears with her hands. "Oh, Charles," she said. They went in the house and shut the door tight and shut the windows tighter. Nevertheless, the music penetrated. After dinner, Crossley looked at Edith and said, "What do you make it?" She counted on her fingers. "This next time will be the 113th repeat," she said. "That's what I counted," said he, handing her wads of cotton. He worked feverishly that evening. He made plans for war using confetti, toothpaste tubes that refused to function, a chemical that dulled razors with the first scrape, and, let me see. His young son, age 12, was doing his homework in the next room. "Oblivious to that awful music," said Crossley in admiration. "Kids are marvels, can concentrate anywhere." He crept up on his son, looked over his shoulder. The boy was writing a composition. Poe authored The Cask of Amontillado, Mask of the Red Death, and I got those mad about him, glad about him, but I get so sad about him, blues, said Crossley. He turned. "Edith, pack the suitcases. We're leaving home." They piled into the family helicopter. As the helicopter lifted into the sky, Crossley's small son said, looking down at the music box in the garden, 200th time. Crossley hit him. It was useless to flee. The hovering radios were everywhere, bawling. They were in the air and on the ground and under bridges. They could not be shot down. They dodged. And the music played on. Edith glared at her husband, who was somewhat responsible for all this. His son tentatively eyed Crossley's shins for kicking. Crossley called the president. "You!" screamed the president. Crossley. "Mr. President, I can explain." So the war progressed. The World Organization hunched forward, tensely awaiting the moment when either side got off bounds, fired a shot or committed a murder. But normal civilized pursuits continued. Imports and exports flowed, foods, clothing, raw materials were exchanged. If either country had broken relations, made guns, knives, grenades, the World Organization would have leaped in. But not a gun was fashioned, not a knife sharpened. There were no murders, wounded, or bruised. The World Organization was helpless. There was no war. Well, almost none. Heinrich. Yes, my wife. Come look at this mirror. Heinrich, chief deputy of the police department in a greater Bruella village, came slopping in his easy slippers, holding his clay pipe like a small tame bird in his hand. Heinrich looked into a mirror that was ridiculous, like at a carnival. What has happened to it overnight, he wondered. Look at me. Ha, I look like an idiot. He chuckled. My face stretches like rubber, shivers, is distorted. Well, the mirror is warped. You are warped, shouted his wife. Do something about it. I will buy a new one. In the meantime, the one upstairs is also warped, she snapped. How will I get my hat on straight, or see if my lipstick is drawn fine, or my powder neat? Clumsy idiot, hurry and fetch a new one. Go, get, rush. Crossley had his orders. Find a way out. Or arrange a truce. If these next attacks by the United States did not produce results, the United States must bargain for peace. Peace, yes. Peace from that abominable woman singing the abominable blues 20 times an hour, night and day. The American public would hold the line as long as possible, said the president, but time was short and puncturing everybody's eardrums seemed a most unlikely way out. Crossley was to get in there, and pitch. Crossley pitched. His jet plane streaked over Europe in the Great Offensive. 3,000 bombloads of something or other were dropped, at his order, and then the 3,000 company ships curved and shot home. He lingered on, cruising the length of Europe, awaiting results. He got them. A large, unseeable beam took hold of his ship and drew it steadily down into the dark mountains of Greater Bruella. Well, said Crossley. Adventure. The entire capture was quiet, convivial. When he stepped from his grounded craft, he was politely escorted into a city of ultramodern buildings and avenues between the mountains, and there, in a small edifice, in a small room, he met his enemy. Krauss sat behind a desk as Crossley entered. Crossley nodded and bowed. Hello, Krauss. You'll be prosecuted for kidnapping. You're free to go any time, snapped Krauss. This is an interview. Sit. The chair was shaped like a low pyramid. You could sit, but you slid in all directions. The ceiling, where Crossley was expected to sit, was very low. He had to choose between backache or slithering around on a pyramidal chair. He chose to slither. Krauss reached over and pinched Crossley. Ouch, said Crossley. Krauss did it again. Stop that, said Crossley. All right, said Kraus. Under Crossley, the chair exploded. Gibbering, Crossley leapt up. He banged his head on the ceiling. He held his back end with one hand, the head with the other. Mr. Crossley, shall we talk of peace? Yes, said Crossley, bent over. When you stop making secret weapons. Otherwise, more confetti, more picnics and pig's knuckles. And more music in America, Mr. Crossley. Another pinch. Ow. We can stand the music long enough to use our next weapon. We always did have it over you stuffed shirts over here. You were the inventors of psychological warfare, but we gave it a few improvements. Can one improve over music, Mr. Crossley? We'll find a way. Ouch. Keep that away from me. I'll detail our plans, Crossley. First, an oversupply of mosquitoes, in America. Hungry ones. Then, a chemical which causes all men's shoes to squeak with each step. Third, electrical pulses to make alarm clocks ring an hour early each morn. Crossley was professionally interested. Not bad. All within the peace rules. All harmless. Except those mosquitoes. Merely skin irritatives. Still, the world org might rule against it. Out with the mosquitoes, then. Ouch. Did I hurt you? Sorry. Well, let us see if we can hurt you a bit more. This paper on my desk. It is a radio report of your death 5 minutes ago. Your plane crashed, says the report. I have only to broadcast it, and then make sure you live up to the facts contained therein. You see. Crossley grinned. I'm to report to the President every hour. No report, immediate World Org investigation. Do you see? Your plane crashed. No soap. The Brindleconus motors never conk. And the new reactive propellants on my ships prevent bad landings. So. Kraus fidgeted. We'll think of some way. It's time for me to phone the President, may I? Here. A phone was handed him. Crossley took the phone. Electricity shot up his arm, into his chest. Jeepers. He dropped the thing. I'll report you. You have no proof. We both play this irritation game, do we not? Go ahead. The phone. This time, Crossley got the President. Crossley, you've heard the news, have you? What news, sir? The chewing gum, you moron, the chewing gum. In the streets, sir. The President groaned. In the streets, the roofs, the dog's fur, the cars, the shrubs, everywhere. Big as golf balls. And sticky. Kraus gloated, listening. Crossley said, Courage, Mr. President. Use the croquet hoops. Croquet hoops. Kraus seized Crossley's arm. Invisible croquet hoops. Crossley smiled. No. Kraus triumphed. People will stumble, be hurt, even killed by them. The word org would stop you. Oh, said crossly. His face fell. Look, Mr. President. About those hoops. Forget them. Proceed with Plan 40 and 45 instead. Another phone rang. Kraus picked it up, answered it. Your wife, Herr Kraus. All right, put her on. I'm okay, Mr. President. Had a little engine trouble. What? Darling, the most terrible trouble. Katrina, I have no time. There is much to do. This is important, you fool. It's horrible. Well, what is it, my Liebskin? I'm busy. Answer me, crossly, were you shot down? Not exactly, Mr. President. They're trying to figure out a way to kill me. Haven't hit on one yet. Mr. Crossley, please, not so loud, I can't hear my wife talking. Yes, darling. Hans, I have dandruff. Say that again, I have so much noise here, Katrina. I'll call you again in an hour, Mr. President. Dandruff, Hans, dandruff. 1,000, 5,000 flakes on my shoulders. You call to tell me this, woman. Goodbye. Bang. Crossley and Kraus hung up in unison, Kraus on his wife, Crossley on the president. Where were we? Said Kraus, sweating. You were going to kill me. Remember? Again the phone. Kraus swore and answered. What? Hans, I've gained 10 pounds. Why do you insist on calling to tell me these things? Mrs. Leber, Mrs. Krensknitz and Mrs. Schmidst, they too have gained 10 pounds. Oh. Kraus hung up, blinking. So. He glared at Crossley. That's what it is. All right, Crossley, we, also, can be subtle. Doctor. A door slid open in the wall. There stood an evil-looking rascal, sleeves rolled high, testing a hypodermic on his own emaciated arm, enjoying it. He looked up at Crossley and said, Practice. Get him, cried Kraus. Everybody jumped on Crossley. Darkness. How do you feel, Crossley? How was he supposed to feel? All right, he guessed. He lifted himself from a kind of operating table and looked at the doctor and at Kraus. Here, doctor, said Kraus. Explain to Mr. Crossley what he may expect 10 years from now. 10 years, said Crossley in alarm. The doctor placed his thin fingers together, bowing. He whispered daintily. 10 years from now you may expect little trouble. It will commence 1 year from now. Unobtrusively. Here or there a slight gastric upset, a cardiac disturbance, a minor intra-irritation of the lung sacs. Occasionally, a headache. A sallowness to the complexion, an earache, perhaps. Crossley began to sweat. He held on to his knees. The doctor continued, slowly, pleased with himself. Then, as the years pass, a small flicker, like bird wings, of the heart. A pain, as if stabbed in the groin. A twitching of the peritoneum. A hot sweating, late of nights, drenching your bedclothes. Insomnia. Night after night, cigarette after cigarette, headache after headache. That'll do, said Crossley bleakly. No, no. The doctor waved his hypodermic. I'm not finished. Temporary blindness. I almost forgot that. Yes, temporary blindness. Fuzzy lights in your head. Voices. Paralysis of the lower limbs. Then, your heart, in one last explosion, lasting 10 days, will beat itself into a bruised pulp. And you'll die, exactly. He consulted a mental calendar, 10 years, 5 months and 14 days from today. The silence in the room was touched only by Crossley's ragged breathing. He tried to lift himself, shivered, fell back. Best of all, there will be no evidence of what we have done to you, said Krauss. Certain hormones and molecular impurities were put into your body. No analysis now or after death would reveal them. Your health will simply fail. We will not be held responsible. Clever, is it not? The doctor said, you may go now. Now that we have fixed you, like a time bomb, to die later, you are free to go. We would not want to kill you here, that would make us responsible. But, 10 years from now, in another place, how can that be due to us? The phone. Your wife, Herr Krauss. My hair is falling out. Now, be patient, my wife. My skin is yellowing. Do something. I will be home in an hour. There will be no home here, then, you. We must go on to victory, my sweet. Not on a path strewn with my golden hair. Yes, my wife, I will say hello to the doctor for you. Hans, don't you dare hang up on me. Don't you? Krauss sat down, fluttering his hands weakly. My wife called me to say all is well. Ha, said Crossley, weakly. Krauss reached over and pinched him. Ouch. There, said Krauss. Speak when you're spoken to. Crossley stood up, laughing. The doctor looked at him as if he were insane. I've got it. I'm going to commit suicide. You're crazy, said Krauss. 10 years from now I die, so why not commit suicide here, thus bringing an investigation by the World Organization, Mr. Krauss? You can't do that, said Krauss, dumbfounded. I won't permit it. I'll jump off a building, perhaps. You can't hold me here for more than another hour or the organization will come to see what ticks. And the minute you let me go, I'll jump off a building. No. Or crash my ship, purposely, on the way home. Why not? What have I to live for? And if it causes your trial, so much the better. Yes, I've decided. I'll die. We'll hold him here, said the doctor to Kraus. We can't, said Kraus. Release him, said the doctor. Don't be silly, said Kraus. Kill him. Sillier still, gasped Kraus. Oh, this is terrible. Which way, said Crossley, to the tallest building in town. You go down to the next corner, said the doctor and stopped. No. Stop. We must stop him. Get out of the way, said Crossley. Here I go. But this is preposterous, screamed Kraus. Doctor, we must think of something. Women sobbed in the streets, their hair trembling in their hands, detached from their heads. Puddles formed wherever women met to weep. See, see, my beautiful hair, fallen. Your hair, you butcher's mate, what of mine? Mine. Yours was hempen rope, a horse's tail. But mine, ache, mine. Like wheat in the high wind falling. Crossley led the doctor and Kraus along a wide street. What goes on? He asked naively. Beast, you know well enough, whispered the doctor fiercely. My wife, my beauteous thickle, her blonde hair'll be a ruin. Speak roughly to me again, threatened Crossley, and I'll hurl myself before this next bus. Don't, no, cried Kraus, seizing his arm. To the doctor, fool. Is your wife more important than hanging? My wife is good as your wife, snarled the doctor. Katrina and her henna rinse. Crossley led the way into a building and up in an elevator. They walked on a terrace on the 13th floor. It is a riot, moaned the doctor, surveying the street below. The women storm the beauty salons demanding help. I wonder if my thickle is with them, raging. In huge clusters the women of the city held their heads in their hands as if they might topple and fall plunk on the ground. They argued, phoned husbands in high government circles, sent telegrams to the leader, pummeled and kicked a bald man who laughed at them in their misery. Pardon me, Kraus said crossly. There. He flicked a constellation of dandruff from Kraus' lapel. My hair, said Kraus, in realization. My lovely hair. Will you sign peace terms, or shall I jump from this building and let you and your wrathful wife become bald? My wife, sobbed Kraus. Bald. Ah, heaven. Turn over all secret officers of your plan, admit your guilt in full, and the attack will stop. You will keep your hair, said Crossley. And cure me of my fatal illness. That, said Kraus, we cannot do. The illness, I mean. But the peace terms, my sweet, balding wife, the peace terms, I reluctantly accept. Peace, it is. Fine, said Crossley. But, one more term. He grabbed the doctor, held him out over the edge, as if to drop him. Stop. Frantically, the doctor squirmed. I lied. We did nothing to you. It was psychological. You'd have worried to death in 10 years. Crossley was so surprised he let go. He and Kraus stared down at the dwindling doctor, falling. I didn't really mean to drop him, said crossly. Squish, murmured Kraus, a moment later, looking down. Crossley pushed his jet ship homeward. Edith, it's over. The music'll be off in an hour. Darling, she radioed. How'd you do it? Simple. They thought it enough to irritate people. That was their error. They didn't strike psychologically deep enough. Their type of irritant only touched surfaces, made people mad and sleepy. But we attacked their ego, which was something else. People can stand radios, confetti, gum and mosquitoes, but they won't take baldness or turning yellow. It was unthinkable. Edith ran to meet him as he landed. The radio still hung in the garden, drifting, singing. What do you make it, now? He cried. She kissed him. Pulling back, she counted swiftly inside her head, glanced at the floating radio and said, automatically, that makes 2310. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. End of the Project Gutenberg ebook. The Irritated People asterisk asterisk asterisk. Updated editions will replace the previous one, the old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose, such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works. By using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg, you agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works 1.0. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLAF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg, 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4. Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. 1.e.5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. 1.e.6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark symbol website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7. Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, and c. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark symbol's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark symbol and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, UT 84116. 801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways including checks, online payments and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the US unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks.